I don't even know how to explain the story, but I'm going to tell you what happened. The Conservative Political Action Conference, known as CPAC, wrapped up this weekend, and conservative activist Isabelle Brown had a message for her fellow Gen Z women, who reportedly are the least likely group in America to get married and have kids. But I want you to see this clip.
If you're not encouraging your children to grow up and have the courage to get married and have kids, more kids than they can afford before they think they're ready, it is high time to start. It is these choices, like deleting our dating apps and quitting birth control pills and saying I do at the altar, that ultimately trickle down into the political policies that we will see save our country.
I think it's just really reckless to be suggesting that people should have children when you now know in this country there's this affordability crisis, and for a two-person household, a married household, you need over $400,000 for childcare. Over $400,000. Most people don't make over $400,000. So she's advocating for people to be born into poverty, people not being able to feed those children, people not being able to educate those children, and people not being able to house those children at the same time when this government is cutting all of the services that would allow people to have families and big families.
And do not forget $400,000 over the lifetime of the child, or what?
No.
A year?
It's a year. It's an annual income exceeding $400,000 to afford childcare. And I want to add that this, no, it's all over the country, according to Lending Tree analysis. And finally, this woman makes $10,000 per speaking engagement, between $5,000 and $10,000 per speaking engagement. Maybe she can afford to do it, but most people cannot.
But she's saying, but listen to what she's encouraging. She's saying, don't have any thought about what you're doing. Yes, be thoughtful before you have a kid.
Correct.
You should be thoughtful before you have a kid.
That's right.
And perhaps, Isabelle, you want to talk to some of those red states about some of their laws about women, because they're not really encouraging women to do anything except flee from them. You're telling people to have as many babies as they want to. Again, I'm going to send you back into the past, and I want you to look and see how people were treated. And then I want you to say, you know what? Maybe this isn't the smartest idea because I only have one child. I don't have to deal with anything because I got somebody who watches the kid because I know the kid wasn't on the thing with her.
Yep.
It's just, don't, look, if y'all are Gen Z, you know this ain't the one.
Yeah.
This ain't.
These women are rotten to the core. All right, we're going to get into it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you all as you watch this broadcast. It's time for Pop and Politics. I'm KJ. Let me introduce you to my co-host. All right, of course, we have Nicole. Nicole Bennett is back with us.
Hey, everybody.
And Shelly E.
Hi, everybody.
All right, we got a lot to cover tonight. Before we light this fire, do your part. Tap that thumbs up. Smash that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. We are live here on YouTube. If you're on the go, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the name Pop and Politics. We love our chat. We shout out every super chat. So drop your thoughts, show your love, and join the conversation that the mainstream media wishes didn't exist. This is not just a podcast. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. Stand with us and subscribe so we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, ladies, let's set it off. Folks, again, as you come in, hit that like button. There's also a way to share this video. Share. That's what gets more people to watch it. Share it on your social media. Share it in a text message, in an email. While you're watching, just hit that arrow to share it. So we want to get more people watching this. This is an important show tonight, folks. This is insane what they did. I mean, every time I turn around, I think, can they stoop any lower? And they have. Shelly, what are your thoughts on what they just said?
First of all, what the hell was Whoopi talking about? Okay, I mean, what was she talking about? I want to know. Someone please explain it to me. That's number one. Number two, it's interesting that all those women up there, they are trying to say that whoever this woman was at CPAC was, I guess they're saying that she had an elitist attitude. Well, all of them up there are actually the elitist ones, okay? They're telling women not to have children. Now, one thing I will agree with, I said it many times on here, have the children that you can afford, because I don't want to take care of them, okay? So I say that if that's one, if that's 10, bless you, God bless you. If you can take care of them, then do it. But to tell them not to have not to have babies because of this economy, don't get married, whatever, that is utter garbage. It is utter garbage.
Yeah. I mean, so before I get your thoughts on this, Nicole, that's Isabelle Brown. The lady that they were referring to is Isabelle Brown. She is a conservative. She's actually on the Daily Wire. She's a recent addition to the Daily Wire. She's 28 years old, born in Boise, Idaho. She is a Gen Zer. Okay. Let me see. She's married. So she got married actually 2 years ago, June of 2024. All right. She married another conservative guy. They actually met through TPUSA. So while they were TPUSA young people, they met there and got married. She does have one daughter. All right. Because she was married in 2024. She got pregnant in 2025 and has one daughter now. Okay. She grew up. She's the oldest of three girls, grew up in Colorado. All right. She was not born to any wealth or anything. She is a Catholic. And I believe she currently lives in DC. So that's who that is. She was speaking at CPAC, trying to speak to the younger generation. What are your thoughts on how their reaction to her, just telling people to have kids, get married and have kids?
Listen, that's what you're supposed to do, right? That's the way. There's a success sequence in life. And this is something that you won't hear Democrats talk to you about, because they don't like any of these steps in this sequence, because it makes you independent. It gives you this thing called freedom. And they don't want you to be free. They want you to be dependent on the government. Sunny is absolutely, I don't know who's watching her kids at Somali daycare. I don't know where she got these damn kids at, but $400,000, girl, call me. If that's what you're paying your babysitters, give a girl a call. I can come, I can watch. I'm smart. They'll learn some great things. Nobody's paying $400,000 a year for damn childcare. Not even the parents who send their kids to Harvard and Yale and Stanford. Is she stupid? Yes, she's stupid. She's super stupid. But I'm going to tell you this. I want every single person who watches that show, every Gen Z woman who watches that show, to take that advice that they gave them and hold on to it like it came out of the Bible. I don't want you to reproduce. I want this to be the last generation of people who don't love this country. I want you to die off and take your furry boyfriends with their ponytails with you. All of y'all just die off so that we can have a decent country again. When you're young, don't waste your youth on mindless abortions, relationships that don't work. Every single time that you have a relationship that quote unquote falls apart, it takes a little piece of your soul with it. You're making all these little tiny connections and not building anything greater. Then you'll turn around and be 50 years old, sitting on The View with half your head shaved off, talking about, oh, I had one child, and you guys don't make that mistake. Don't have any children because children are expensive. Whoopi was not born to wealth. She was not. Absolutely. Neither was Sunny. Neither was the little Anna. None of them were born to wealth. And my gosh, they're talking about her $10,000. They make more than that an episode. Exactly. So let's call it what it is. Exactly. What they're doing is get out here, have as much unprotected sex as you can. And if you're lucky enough to avoid the STIs, we've got abortions. Remember that abortion truck and those dancing abortion pills at their political convention. This is what they want for America's youth. We've got to wake up, folks. Find you a decent girl or a guy, get married, have kids, live a beautiful life. There's no reason to put it off.
Absolutely. I mean, the way they reacted to Isabella Brown's encouragement about getting married and having kids, you would think she was telling people to go out and kill people. I mean, they act as if this was the worst thing you could tell young people. And it's quite the total opposite. The numbers support this, folks. When you look at young married couples versus singles, by far on most metrics, almost every one, married couple households with children thrive. When you talk economically, when you talk about just happiness in general, mental well-being, they all do far better than singles. I mean, what is she talking about? We have the data here. Median household income for married couple families with children is between 101,000 to 128,000. This is between 2021 and 2024. Okay, when you compare this to single family headed households with kids, it's $60,000. All right. I mean, the list goes on. Married men specifically get a 10 to 20% wage premium over never married men. Peak earnings are married men 86,000 versus singles 49,000. All right, this is all according to Pew Research. The wealth gap is even starker. Dual income married couples with kids have a median wealth of $361,500, far above what they call DINKs, dual income no kids, which is at $214,700.
And do you know why?
Home ownership is one. Yeah. And the equity in their homes. Yeah. I mean, the list goes on here with this data. And of course, they didn't go through any of this data on why she's telling people to get married and have kids. And before I want to land the plane, but before I say that, first off, people in the chat, how many people plan their kids? Very few people, whether you're married or not, plan your kids. Okay, let's be real. All right. Most people don't plan their kids. Sometimes you do, most don't. And guess what? It's okay. You end up okay. Now I'm talking about married. Get married, you have your children. But what I'm talking about is you get married. A lot of times it's unplanned and you deal with it. They are rotten to the core.
Yes. One of the reasons for all of those stats that you named, and you're right, Nicole, I was going to say that the stat, she said $400,000 a year. First of all, if you take $400,000 a year to raise a child, then they don't need child care. They need their mommy can stay at home, okay? Or dad, whomever, whatever, okay? That's number one. Number two, one of the I guess the fuel behind those stats, okay? Having children in your marriage and when you're married, as your family grows, having children is one of the indicators or most significant indicators. It gives the parents hope. It gives them a reason, if you will, to work hard, to ensure that they will be able to provide for their children, their offspring, okay, as opposed to particularly single people, single women primarily on the government dole. It's not a matter of, I'm not saying that their children don't love their children, that's not what I'm saying, but they're relying on the government to dictate to them how much money they're going to make, and they think, me just being quote unquote lazy. I know mothers are not lazy by just the fact that you're a mother, okay? But the point I'm making is that they don't have they have the hope of getting a government check, okay, in a sense. So that's what they have. Again, the children are not the problem, okay? The children themselves are not the problem, are not the bad thing. The bad thing is when you bring them into an environment, onto a relationship that's not the stability that they need for their lives.
Absolutely. And then again, as you mentioned, I mean, survey report, data after data says how married parents report the highest life satisfaction, lowest depression, and least loneliness. Yeah. I mean, these people just want people to be miserable. I think you're telling young people this stuff. It didn't used to be like this, Nicole. I mean, I remember now, let me tell you something. Again, you guys know I've mentioned this before. I grew up in a single parent household, single mom. And my mom, oh my gosh, she was bitter, okay, after divorce. All right, I ain't gonna lie. You can ask anybody, will tell you. She was very bitter. But one thing she always told us, get married. She said, get married, have kids. No matter how it ended up for her, she still wanted us to get married, meet a nice guy, get married, and have children. Where did it go when now these bitter women out here telling people not to get married and have kids?
Ah, you mean the Gloria Steinem effect? Yeah. That radical
and
feminism.
again, wealthy women.
Yes. And this is the thing. These wealthy women can wait until they're 40 and 50 to have a child and go get pumped with a kid, have a kid with their third or fourth husband, the one they married for money, not love, and then lament having the child that they don't care for. I mean, Whoopi has a child that she had early on in her life. And she loves her grandchildren. She talks about them all the time. And boy, isn't it strange that her daughter was married? If she doesn't really advocate marriage, how does that work? So here's the thing with these radical feminists. They advocate abortion. They advocate singleness. They advocate anything a man can do, I can do better. I'm exactly the same as a man. That globalist, that flattening of the American culture tears our communities apart. If you're looking for an example, look at our community. Look at the Black community. You know, when husbands were around, we did much, much better. And then we full on bought into Uncle Sam being your husband. You don't have to sleep with him, but he's going to drop you a check. He might shake the father of that child by the ankles to get it, lock him up to get it, ruin his life to get it. But he'll give you a little check. He'll give you a little hut to live in and a little food stamps. And we're going to tell you what to eat, when to eat, who can come, who can't stay. We're going to tell you every single thing in your life. And you're going to learn to love it because I'm going to give you just enough to want some more next month. And your children will learn that that's the normalcy in life. This is the problem with listening to liberal people. They don't have a clue because they don't live regular existence. They do not. If we took every dollar off that stage and made them us and us them, first of all, we're doing live from Fiji. I'm going to just say that. We're going to be live from the beach. It's going to be a beautiful thing. But if they had to do what they do for millions of dollars for free, would they? Mm-mm. Would they? Would they do it to support their families? Would they do it to add economic indicators to their family situation, even if they were single? Would they do it? These women would not. You know what they would do? They would go out and find their damn asses a rich husband. That's what they would do, like Sunny did, because her husband ain't broke. Nope. He might be a criminal, allegedly, but he's not broke. This is what I'm saying to people. Don't listen to people who haven't lived your existence. It's cute, yada, 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 run your mouth. Oh, poor people shouldn't have children. Sounds like eugenics to me. Sounds a little bit Margaret Sanger-ish to me. They need to get themselves together on The View for quote unquote brown women. They're not leading the case for us. They're really not.
No. I mean,
I got a quick, can I tell this quick story?
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you, do you think people are listening to the younger generation? Do you think they're listening to them? And women like them?
I hope not. But let me tell you a little hopeful story. Very quickly. So last week, or the end of last week, a fifth cousin, literally a fifth cousin, she passed away. Now she was a little bit older, but she was a fifth cousin. But I met her great grandnephew, who was technically, no, he's my fifth cousin. She's my third cousin. I'm sorry. All right, 9 months, right? Met him for the first time, cutest little thing. He came right to me, right? Like he's been knowing me all my life, all his life, I should say. Came right to me. He was so happy. And it was just he was just so cute to play with, right? He came right to me. As soon as I picked him up, he put his head on me, just like, oh my gosh. Everybody was like, oh my gosh, you got a new babysitter. So I told his parents they're not married, they're young. I said, I'll babysit if you need me to. Number one, two things. You got to call me in advance, number one. And number two, you better come pick them up on time, okay? Because I will hunt you down. So that was that. Then I met another relative. Technically, he's a nephew. I call him a nephew. About the same age. Hadn't seen him. The same thing. Two different people. Both of them are boys. They came right to me like they've been knowing me all my life, right? All their little lives. And it was just so cute. Play with them, hold them, whatever. They were happy. They weren't like, fussy or whatever. I mean, that wouldn't have mattered because they're babies. But the point is that it's like, this is what life is all about, right? And it kind of, it's like it gives you, even though I call them my nephews, well, one of them is my nephew, one is my cousin technically, but it's like it gives you a little bit of reset and refocus in your own life, right? Kind of like, okay, this is why, this is part of the why. And I mean, that it was just really sweet to see them.
Yeah, absolutely. We have some super chatters here.
Let's see who we have. I bet I know who we have. Oh, no, I thought we had somebody else. Marla, thank you, Marla, for joining us, and thank you for being a member of our Freedom Seekers Club for your $5. Good evening, ladies. Love watching you. It's so refreshing to see intelligence. Holy crap! I just lost some brain cells. That show needs to go. Thank you, Marla. Kung Fu CJ, thank you for your $2 super chat and for being a member of our Freedom Seekers Club and one of our mods. Hello, Pat family. Let's get it. Thank you so much. Don't forget, everybody out there in Poppers land, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Make sure you are doing it, sharing it, liking it, and you are subscribing. Don't forget your merchandise. And I think the link, our producers placed the links in the chat already, and you can go and shop. And don't forget our Discord. You might find some commentary, some pictures, just some hodgepodge of stuff over there on Discord.
Discord's always pretty lit. You can jump in there and say what's on your mind about the episodes that we have, not only on Pop and Politics, but on all of the Metro Conservative Media channels. Listen, April 15th is coming. So if you order probably this week, you might be able to get your Give Me My Money Back t-shirt just in time to wear it on tax day. This is a great way to support the channel and look incredibly stylish. It comes in a bevy of colors. The black one is my personal favorite, but you can get it in just about any color that you can imagine. We have all types, all sizes, and there's no reason for you not to. Get your merchandise, take a picture in it, and we will shout you out on the show.
Absolutely, absolutely, folks. And guess what? We have it's not just us, folks. We have other shows here on the Metro Conservative Media platform. If you missed Just the Guys on Saturday, you got to go check them out. They were bringing you live updates about the No Kings protest. As you know, that was happening on Saturday all over the country. They were talking about it. Check out their live show at Just the Guys podcast every Saturday at 6:30 p.m. All right. And then on Sundays, you got to check out at KJ Christian Conservative, where I provide a biblical perspective on all the news and pop culture. We were talking about Palm Sunday on Sunday, so you got to check that out. Also, we were talking about Anton Daniels and Stephen A. Smith's interview. He got into some Christianity on that interview. What's a saint? He called himself a saint at the top of the show. We talked about it. Check it out at KJ Christian Conservative. All right. And then you can find all of our shows on the Metro Conservative Media platform. You go to the website, metroconservativemedia.com. All right. So
another super chatter.
Yes.
All righty. Laura there. Hi, Laura. How are you? And Laura is also a member of our Freedom Seekers Club. And thank you for your $5. She says, y'all, I'm a nervous wreck with all our troops in Iran. And I'm not sure what that little symbol is at the back there. IR. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, that's the flag from the emoji. Oh, okay. So yes, Laura. I think everybody, well, I'll say it, most people are nervous, not sure. Of course, we want our troops and we want our troops safe. We want our country. We support President Trump because our troops are over in another country. But I think it's reasonable, I guess I would say reasonable that you are nervous. And I'm going to throw in the words, I'll say concern.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what the latest news is, he did put in troops on the ground. Is that right?
No, there are troops over there. There were troops already there in the Middle East in different various bases. I think about 30 to 40,000. They were already there. There were about 5,000 of a early, like an expedition team, so to speak, Marines and maybe some other special ops. And then I don't know if the other 10,000 or 10,000 have gone yet. I think they're en route if they're not already there.
Okay. And I think those are airborne. They were saying
that's what I thought. Yeah. Okay.
No, I don't think all 10,000 of them are, but yeah.
Okay. I'm looking up some information now. So over 50,000 forces are already deployed, as you mentioned, in the Middle East. 3,500 Marines and sailors. 2,000 paratroopers. And so basically the plan looks like is, as we mentioned, the limited strikes. Okay. Yeah. So, Iranian parliamentary speaker Mohammad Baghdad warned U.S. ground troops would be set on fire and forces are waiting for them. But I'm looking here. I would have to look into it a little bit more. But like you mentioned, folks, we gotta continue to keep our troops in our prayers. And you know, that's what we have to do. So yeah. Any thoughts there, Nicole, before we move on from there?
Yeah, we should definitely keep our troops in prayer, but we should also keep a brave face, right? Mm-hmm. So it's okay to be concerned. It's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be unhappy that Trump is putting boots on the ground, maybe. I
don't see it. Yeah, I'm sorry, just real quick. Yeah, I'm looking it up now. The news, ABC and stuff. No full-scale ground invasion or large combat formations have crossed into Iran yet.
Yeah. So let's just be very cheerful, because I can tell you from personal experience, when soldiers go to conflicts or war, when they come home, they are very excited to come home, and then they're excited for people to be excited about them coming home. So we need to get our grateful nation self together as we sit at home in the comfort of our homes, enjoying the freedoms that they put their lives on the line for. So this is not the moment to be anything other than hello, so proud to be an American, right? Pray for them and keep your chin up.
Yep, absolutely. And also, you know, think about how they're prepared. You know, people prayerfully, these troops are prepared. You know, most people don't go into war and not knowing there is a possibility that you may be called out to war. So again, just continue to pray for their safety, for their protection, and that this thing is swift and done with. All right. So I hope that answered your question, Laura. We will continue to look into that and keep you all updated. So let's talk about this No Kings protest. So as we mentioned, this was on Saturday. The No Kings protest was all over the country. They were held Saturday, and take a look at this mother-daughter duo talking about why they're out there protesting. This is clip 1.
In common with a Trump supporter or radical Islamist?
Radical Islamist.
If you saw someone wearing one of those red hats chanting "Make America Great Again."
1 second. That's not right. Let me see here. Did I put the wrong one up? No. Okay. 1 second, folks. All right. I'm looking for clip 1. 1 second. We'll move on. So basically, this is the clip of a mother and daughter talking about the No Kings protest. We have it here. 1 second. Let me see here. Sorry about that. These people are just crazy. People are out here protesting and they don't even know what they're protesting for. All right. 1 second.
I saw some interesting things as I saw some No Kings rallies on Saturday. They had more clowns and blow up animals and furries. It was kind of like a street festival, kind of like a carnival for a particular demographic.
Yeah. Nuts. I
was trying to be nice, KJ. Bunch of weirdos.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, queer.
Well, I have 3 girls, and so it is so important to build a better future for them. We are here to be the light, not to squash it out, and so it means everything to have my daughter with me.
Now, I'm looking at your signs. Who put it together? Whose idea was this? Tell me. This is your idea? Tell me about it. How'd you come up with this idea?
I just looked up some ideas and I just put it together.
How does it feel to be her mom?
I am so incredibly proud, and she has her own voice. She's here because she wants to. She knows it's the right thing. It just means everything that I'm raising her to be the light, to be a future for all of us.
Are you raising her to know why she's out there? They couldn't even answer the question. They don't even know why they're protesting. Shelly, what are your thoughts there?
I was going to ask. Was the part cut off? Because I didn't hear what the question was.
Yeah, I think it was. One second.
Why you try to find it?
I want to replay it. Let me see here. Oh yeah. All right, here we go.
You got mom and daughter, I'm assuming, correct?
Yes,
And you
sir,
are?
Yes, sir. My name is Melissa Group.
Melissa and?
Mia Group.
Mia. We're going to start with Mia. Mia, why are you out here?
Can you hear it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. He asked her, why are you out here?
To protest and make a better democracy.
And your sign, this is a together sign, I guess.
Sir.
To explain your together sign, Mia.
So it's supposed to be about, like, we get to make a statement and they just silence us and they don't get to do that. We have the right.
What?
What's she talking about? What? You know what? I can't be upset at the child, okay?
No, I'm not upset at her. I'm upset at the mom.
As the mother, I mean, she doesn't even, right, the child doesn't know why she's out there. The mother doesn't either. I mean, because again, the fact that she's there protesting with whatever asinine, goofy signs says that there is no tyrant that's stopping her. I mean, it's ludicrous. And again, you protest about whatever you want. This is America, but at least have some coherence, cognizance to understand why you're there.
Well, you know, the follow-up question should have been, who is trying to silence you? That would have been my follow-up question, because she's a child and she's made a statement that there's someone trying to silence her and she doesn't like that. So the follow-up question would naturally be, who's trying to silence you? Who is it? Because clearly, you know, you got a voice. I mean, it's not right, but you have a voice. And this is the type of moment from a parenting perspective that I don't know where her father is. He should have intervened before she allowed her daughter to come out here and make a complete and total, you know, mess of this to be sprinkled all over the internet, which is forever. Because, you know, somebody didn't screenshot this and saved it to their favorites and all that kind of thing. At least have a coherent statement on why you're going there. If you're just going to hang out because you're a Democrat and it's a great Democrat place to hang out, then say that. But don't say that someone is squashing your rights when that's not at all true. If we were squashing your rights, would you be allowed to stand on the side of the street with a sign that says some kind of foolishness?
Nicole, she doesn't even know the difference between a democracy and a republic. That child doesn't. I don't even think the mother does, but certainly the child does not know. Okay, she doesn't know. The only person who's trying to silence her are her parents when she's talking back and being mouthy. That's the ones who's trying to silence her if they even pop her in her mouth. So those are the only people who are trying to silence her when she gets a little too above herself. Other than that, that child does not know. They would have done better at least to educate her as to why they're there. As foolish as it may be, but at least make her at least sound like she got a little bit of sense, maybe slightly more than her mom.
It's because these leftist mothers, they use these children as props. This is what it is. She is a prop that is being used to say, oh, my daughter is at No Kings protest. This is what they're using these children, same as they use them for the trans thing. Oh, I got a trans kid. Look at her go. Look at him go. I just stripped off her titties and took off his penis, and now look what I got. I got a boy. I got a girl. This is what they're doing. They're props. They're pawns. They're the new Birkin bag. All right. They're the new leather boots. It's all for show. It's all for show, and it's sad.
Really
it's actually child abuse.
It really is. It really is. I mean, all of us have children. I don't think I've taken my child with me on a protest, maybe once, of course she was older, but I even asked her. It wasn't that you had to come, right? If you want to come, this is what I'm doing. And I prefer her not to be there for the most part, you know, depending on what I prefer her not to be there. I want her to have her own quote unquote identity, you know what I mean, the right kind of way, right? She can be educated. Of course, I instill in her and invest in her mind and things like that. But I want her to, I don't want to drag her and force her. Maybe going to protest is not, you know, that's not her personality, so to speak. Okay. Yeah. But fine. But at the same time, you're right, KJ. These are props. That's what they do. I mean, it's for foolishness. It is for foolishness. I want
to got another interview.
To write an essay.
So
I don't see anything wrong with taking your teenager to a protest. I really don't. But make sure they understand why they're there. You know, it's not just you're dragging them. Did they want to go? Is this a topic or an issue that they were talking about prior to you dragging them there? Did they say, you know what, I want to go because of this, this, and this? Let them be informed. You know, not just dragging them out because it's just a cool, cute thing to do.
Right.
She doesn't look to be a teenager. She looks to me to be,
like 12,
maybe
11
12.
or 12.
You know, and the thing is she's probably doing it because it's quote unquote the end thing to do. Remember, they told these kids that they needed to go out and protest ICE, and that was the wonderful thing to do. And, you know, these federal law enforcement officers are horrible people from saving those very same children from being raped, stabbed, killed, and maimed, right? They're horrible people for protecting you. So I think there's a little bit of the brainwashing that's going on, which takes us back to that first segment about liberal women having babies. No more children for you. Don't do it. Just leave the baby rearing to the conservative folks so we can get this country straightened out, because this is a whole hot mess here. Little Hannah's going to grow up and she's going to turn into the next girl who's screaming in your face with glasses on and the septum piercing. This is what's going to happen to this one. So we need them to listen to Whoopi Goldberg for the first time in my life. Listen to Sunny Hostin. Listen to her. She's preaching the gospel for liberal women. Don't do it. Don't have no more.
I'm telling you, look, like speaking to those people walking up to you, Nicole, those lefty women, lunatic, they just haven't walked up into the right person yet, because they just have not done so. They just haven't. So, but yeah,
I think they choose wisely. They look for people that they think they can bully. I think that's what they do.
Absolutely. Well, and these people they're just idiots. Honestly, I'm not talking about the child, but most of these leftists are idiots. They can never actually support their positions. It's really sad. Take a look at this next clip where you have these delusional leftists admitting that they have more in common with radical Islamists. This is clip 6.
More in common with a Trump supporter or a radical Islamist?
Radical Islamist.
You saw someone wearing one of those red hats chanting "Make America Great Again," or you saw someone shouting "Allahu Akbar" running down the breezeway here. Who would you feel more safe with?
The one shouting Allahu Akbar. Yeah.
You would support the radical Islamists.
Yeah.
What is it about Trump supporters that you don't think you'd get along with them so well?
I'm gay.
But you would get along with a radical Islamist?
Yes.
And you're.
Oops, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to remove that. First, I want to say to you, she's gay, and she said she's gonna have more in common with a radical Islamist. Where do these people come from?
How about somebody's running down the street shouting Allahu Akbar, and you're gonna run? You better run the other damn way. If somebody's running down the street yelling Allahu, or you better either get a gun and shoot them, okay? Something to knock their ass. I'm trying not to curse during Holy Week. Something to knock their asses down, okay? I'm sorry, but or run the other way. I get a fire hose or something, because what?
Well, first of all, as a gay person, they're not going to survive a radical Islamist. You know. Right. It's hard to be a straight person and survive a radical Islamist, but go ahead and be gay. And honey, there are so many gay people in the Republican Party. We have whole national clubs dedicated to gay Republicans. Right. And I'm going to tell you, folks, if you've never been to a log cabin Republican meeting, you have got to get to one. You talk about a fun meeting. They have a little food. There's usually some fun activity, whitewater rafting, salsa dancing. I mean, it's just a knockdown, drag out good time. So get yourself to a log cabin Republican meeting. They have a great time at their meetings. And let me tell you why. They have no fear. They have no fear of being gay and being a Republican. They live their lives like Scott Bessent, a very famous, openly gay man. Department of the Treasury, the one I keep telling you looks like Richie Rich. Yes,
I know. Yeah, I know.
Openly gay. It just boggles my mind how there's a flow of information and it seems to stop right before it gets to liberal people. It seems like there's no information, like they're living on the other side of the Berlin Wall. They're not getting any information, like a little tiny North Korea filled with liberal people. It's ridiculous to me. I can tell you, a radical Islamist would throw her butt off of a top of a building and not think twice about doing it.
Nope.
MAGA people would just walk by her, good morning, and keep it pushing. What is her problem? That information flow.
I don't even know if they really believe this stuff. This isn't it though. Take a look. This is they have more.
In solidarity with radical Islamists, would you look at the camera and say in solidarity, Allahu Akbar?
Allahu Akbar.
And would you say make America great again in solidarity with the Trump supporters?
No.
What is a bigger threat to America today? Radical Islam or Trump supporters?
Trump supporters.
I'll say Trump.
Trump supporters in MAGA.
Yeah.
I would say Trump supporters in MAGA.
I would have to go with the Trump supporters.
Trump supporters in MAGA.
Trump supporters in MAGA.
I'd say MAGA. But we should be able to allow people to be who they are.
Yeah. Even if they're a radical Islamist.
Yes. There's no right to judge them.
So if someone came running down the street, Allahu Akbar, or if there was someone on the opposite side saying, make America great again, got my red hat on, which side would you run to?
I don't know.
As Christians, and we're following Christ, do you think it's important to call out radical Islam?
No, because it's a freedom of religion.
Yeah, it's a freedom of religion.
How many terrorist attacks did Trump supporters engage in last week?
So many.
Just guess.
Thousands.
If you're a radical Islamist watching this right now, we pray for your conversion.
It's whatever they want to do, then do it. 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 Whatever they want to do, then do it.
Why are these people here? Why are they here? If you believe these things, go to where the radical Islamists are. Honestly, I feel like we're lost. Shelly, this country is lost. Do you think this is the majority of the left, or you think this is a small portion of it?
No, I think this is a section of the left. They're all loony for the most part, but I think this is a what you call a faction of the left. That's number one. But I thought about this. Remember, again, this, I don't know why this has been coming to my mind lately. During the scamdemic, there were people who were reporting the so-called mask breakers, or if you broke the 6-foot line, they were reporting their neighbors, so to speak, because they weren't following all the rules and things like that. These are the type of people that when the shit hits the fan, they will report the Americans. If the Americans are trying to go out there and save their block, their neighborhood, they're going to report them. If it's a choice, but they're telling the truth. I believe them. If there's a choice between the radical Islamists running down the street yelling Allahu Akbar and the MAGA person or the Christian person or whomever, anybody else, they will go against that person, and because of Trump derangement syndrome, because they hate America and they actually believe that we have a king that's trying to take us over like a tyrant. This is why America is I don't think we're lost, but these will be the reasons why, these type of people.
Yeah. Nicole, what are your thoughts?
I think it's a very interesting phenomenon when you see so many people so willfully ignorant of what things really mean. And again, I don't mean to indict the American education system, but I blame them. I blame them and I blame their parents. Because at some point you have to be responsible for at least giving your child access to good information. Now, as a conservative person, all of the information that I taught my daughter absolutely leaned to the right. Absolutely lean to the right, because this is the way that my parents did it for me. I mean, I grew up listening to Rush Limbaugh in the car with my dad. So, children's minds shape early. So if you feed them a steady drumbeat of no kings, although we've never had a king. We got a couple queens, but we don't really have any kings, and never have had. And, basic civics tells you that. And you've got a 12-year-old standing on a corner going, yeah, we shouldn't have any kings because I don't like kings. And then we have these adults going, I'd run to Islam first. And I want to be startled, but I'm going to tell you, these are Kamala voters. These are exactly who these people are. And you think I'm joking? The Democrat Party looked over Josh Shapiro, governor of Pennsylvania, who would have given us a run for our money. Do you hear me? I'd still be knocking doors in Pennsylvania right now if Josh ran. But they didn't pick him. Anybody want to guess why they didn't pick Governor Shapiro? Blame the Jews. And they've got an Islam problem. They've got a Dearborn problem. They did not want to upset that part of their base. And this is what's playing out. That little tiny microcosm has now grown into a segment of our population. And it's unfortunate because, not everybody can make the trip to make America great. Some people are going to get left in the dust, and they're pointing themselves out for their own selves. Running as a gay person head first into anybody screaming Allahu Akbar is a death sentence. Absolutely a death sentence. And if nobody else tells you, let me tell you, they don't like gay people. And it's not like they're going to discriminate against you. They're going to kill you. Their holy word, by their standard, teaches them to kill you. So
I hope they show them better than tell them. Show them better than tell them. Some people have to experience it.
I just need them to get better information. And I, we can blame the legacy media, we can blame all of this, but these are grown people, these are adults, and they willfully have kept their heads in the sand. That Black couple that says, well, we're not going to judge them, just let them do what they want to do. Are you serious? Are you serious in this moment?
Yeah. Folks, sound off in the chat and let us know what you think. I think we have some super chatters here.
All righty, everybody. We have SAG 1028. Thank you for your $2 super chat. I guess Sharia law is going to give her a voice. It might slit her throat, but I doubt about that. But we'll see. Kung Fu CJ, thank you for your $5. We don't live in a democracy. We live in a representative republic. These people have no clue. The founders hated and ran from democracy. Absolutely.
Yep. All right. Absolutely, folks. Again, your super chats go a long way in keeping us online. We really appreciate it. You saw the view. They get thousands of views. They get thousands of replays and of shares. Folks, we got to compete with them. If not for just us, but for the next generation. We want to get the truth out. We got to push back against the leftist lies. And you guys are helping us do it. So thank you so much. All right, so let's change gears a little bit here and talk about the DHS shutdown. Folks, even ABC News is now calling out Democrats on ICE and holding back funds for DHS. So just to recap for you guys, the DHS has been partially shut down over a funding standoff. The fight centers on immigration enforcement. Republicans are demanding full funding and resources for ramped up deportations and border security. Democrats are blocking or at least watering down bills treating TSA airport security as bargaining chips in disputes over ICE funding. All right. The House Republicans passed a clean 2-month stopgap to fund all of DHS at current levels through mid-May, but Senate Democrats have repeatedly blocked or countered with deals that exclude key enforcement pieces. Now, lawmakers, they just left for recess. I am so mad about that. I think they should have stayed until something was done, but they are headed home, and a lot of people are upset about it, because it's like they're prioritizing vacation over fixing this crap. All right. White House and DHS officials are calling it the Democrats' reckless DHS shutdown, accusing them of holding essential workers hostage to protect sanctuary policies and slow walk Trump's immigration agenda. Take a look at this next clip. This is clip 2.
What's confusing here is you have fought and blocked the funding for the Department of Homeland Security because you object, as you just outlined, to what ICE has been doing. And you wanted to force changes. And yet, the only thing that has been assured throughout all of this is that ICE already has the money. Because as you said, $75 billion passed in the budget bill last year. So you're holding up the entirety of the Department of Homeland Security because you object to ICE and you want changes to ICE. But through it all, ICE continues to have the money it needs.
John, we're not holding up all of the money for all the Department of Homeland Security. That's just a false statement. We have said repeatedly, repeatedly, we should fund TSA, we should fund FEMA, we should fund the Coast Guard. We are not prepared to give ICE another $10 billion on top of the monies they already have and are using in many of these lawless operations. We're not going to give them another $10 billion unless they make fundamental reforms,
that $10 billion,
holding
you're
people
holding up
accountable
everything
for
else.
the killing of American citizens.
And fighting over that additional $10 billion, you are holding up the rest of Department of Homeland Security.
We're not holding it up.
I mean,
you're saying, no, John, we're not holding it up. We have now voted 10 times.
Right, but you're holding up unless it doesn't include money for ICE. That's just a fact.
So are they holding it up, Nicole?
Of course they're holding it up. Listen, this is the whole thing that just kind of blows my mind. One, they should have never allowed them to separate it out. Let's do that. Let's just say that a lack of leadership punches you in the face when you least suspect it, right? Fine. You made the mistake. You allowed them to carve it out. But what they're asking
and for people who don't understand, what do you mean? What do you mean by carve it out?
So when the government was time to be refunded, right? Because there's certain parts that have to be funded at a certain time, right? They allowed a carve out, meaning everybody gets renewed, everybody gets funded except for DHS. That's what I mean by carving it out. So it would be like your household budget. And let's say your husband has a small gambling addiction and he wanted, $10,000 of your budget to go to MGM. And you say, no, we're not going to do MGM, but we're going to pay everything else. This is what the government did. They said, well, we're not going to do DHS, but we'll pay all of these other things. Well, ICE has already been funded. ICE was funded last year, 75 with a B billion dollars. They got money. So this is not about ICE. This is about the power of the minority against the majority. And if there's anything that America should be learning now, you hear Democrats say this on all the talkies on Sunday. Well, they have control of the House and the Senate and the Supreme Court leans their way. This shutdown is on them. These long TSA lines are on them. That is not true. If I had 60 votes in the Senate, this would not be an issue. Everybody would be funded. Everybody would be working, but we don't have enough votes to have our way. So this is where we are. The minority has just enough votes to be a pain in the ass, just enough votes to make people wonder why the majority can't get it done. Now, there are some parliamentary tricks that could have been played. They've chosen not to do that. Staying back instead of going home for Easter recess, they've chosen not to do that. In between that, not only the TSA agents, but you got TSA, you got the Coast Guard, you got CISA, which is vitally important to our nation. These are the people who keep us free from cyber attacks. All of these people are working with no money. And many of them live here in the DMV. And can I tell you, even with the paychecks, it's hard to live here. So it is ridiculous to me that they would still go home and do their regular campaigning. And then you got Chris Van Hollen, who's from Maryland, who's from the ritzier part of Maryland, saying, oh, no, we're not holding up people's paychecks. I think what Shelley has been saying is right. Not one legislator should get paid. Not one federal legislator should get paid until the government is fully opened. This is ridiculous. And the things that they wanted body cameras. Fine. We gave them body cameras. They wanted Kristi Noem's head on a stick. Fine. Gave them Kristi Noem. They keep moving the goalpost. What they want is they want this shutdown to last until midterms. That's what they want. Yeah. They want people to say, we gave you the majority and you still couldn't get the ball across the finish line. And you hear card-carrying conservatives saying that like they don't know how to count. 60 votes is what it takes, folks. It takes 60 in the Senate.
And I want to say, before you run it, say something to Shelley, when we're saying 60 votes, it's 60 out of 100. So Republicans hold a narrow 53 to 47 majority in the Senate. So that means they can't pass a clean DHS funding bill with just GOP votes. That's right?
Right. That's exactly right.
Exactly.
So this is why, if you live in a blue state like we do, and you need to reach out to these blue legislators. Angela also Brooks is new. She's going to vote the party line. She doesn't even understand what the hell they're talking about, but she's going to vote the party line because her team has told her that's the party line. Her district has a ton of federal workers who are not getting paid. You would think that she would be on the other side of this going, no, we got to get my folks paid. We have to. They can't live months and months and months without pay. But again, this is them prioritizing their power over the people.
Right. And another thing I want to just confirm. So when we're talking about this idea that, DHS has not been funded, and President Trump has said that he wants, how does this come into play with the not border patrol, but the Democrats are saying that they're holding out because they don't want ICE at polling places. How is that coming into play?
Well, it's coming into play because that's their new sticking point. Again, they keep moving the goalposts. First, it was body cameras. They need body-worn cameras. Okay, so we got them body cameras, and it's not showing what they wanted to show. It's showing what we wanted to show, that these officers are doing everything by the book, being harassed, spit on, and all this other stuff. So body camera thing didn't really work. And then it was like, okay, we don't want Kristi Noem anymore. She's the problem. Okay. He throws Kristi Noem a bone. Now she's in charge of the Western Hemisphere. Fine. What else do you want? So he's continually trying to meet their demands.
In the bill.
But they're moving ICE to the airports to for traffic control, basically. Crowd control for the most part.
Crowd control. So what they're trying to do is alleviate some of the stress on the TSA workers, because it's hard to be, it's bad enough you ain't getting paid. Many of them are having a hard time making their bills. Some of them are sleeping in their cars and all that. And then you got all these people, screaming at you. You can go faster. You can move faster. Da, da, da. So having some crowd control, they're handing out water bottles. They're helping people find the restroom and keeping the lines together. They're really just doing basic crowd control. Now, if there's somebody there with a detainer, they're going to do some ICE work, because that's what ICE does.
And that's what they're looking. They're trying to use that as sort of like a fear thing. I don't know, making people afraid.
Well, yeah, because even before they went to the airports, they were saying Americans were going to die at the airport. If somebody died at the airport, it's from waiting, because Americans don't wait well. That's not what we do. We're not good at standing on the queue.
But I just want to make sure people understand. They are holding up a bill that will fund DHS because they want to put in what they're calling guardrails on immigration agents and other things in this bill that President Trump is saying, no, we're not adding that to the bill. That's correct, right?
Right.
That's
they don't want ICE, but ICE is already funded, basically.
ICE is already
they're using
funded.
TSA. They're basically screwing TSA for no reason.
Right, because they want to add extra stuff to this bill.
Right. So what they want is what they call prolific reform of ICE and Border Patrol. What they want is, when Trump said ICE will be at polling places, that was a serious affront to them, because as we've proven over and over again, illegals do vote in our elections.
But wait a minute, Nicole. But when President Trump said he wanted ICE at the polling places, this was part of the big beautiful bill, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. What does that have to do with this now?
It doesn't. They are using this as a ploy, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
They're trying to make it seem like it does, but all they're doing basically is screwing TSA, Border Patrol. They're using them because they're the ones that have not been funded yet. So they're kind of holding them as a leverage, if you will. That's what they're trying to use them as. But let me tell you what else is upsetting. Okay. I'm more and more enraged. Talk about give me my money back. Again, I've always said I want the government smaller. Of course, I still do. But I also want people to be paid. How is it just? If you want to talk about justice, how is it just that people are supposed to come to work 2, 3, 4 months, however long it's going to be, and then they without pay, without pay. And then if they say, oh no, I need to go get another job, I'm going to call out, they're going to be penalized for that. But it's just so unfair all around. Not only that, there's the stories going around. Tyler Perry was going to, he offered some of these TSA workers, I think in Georgia, but it could have been somewhere else. What, $1,000 gift cards? Okay, he couldn't give cash, so he wanted to give them gift cards. Do you know that the government, okay, is telling these people, these TSA workers, they have to give it back because of some follow the rules, follow the law. There are rules that regulate how much government employees can take as gifts, can accept as gifts, okay? But this is the part that pisses me when people say follow the rule, when the rules are screwing you no matter what. All of them damn bureaucrats, the managers, the high ups, the E levels and G levels, they're still walking home every 2 weeks with a paycheck, okay?
Well, let's talk about that. That's the next. We have a clip of. Let's talk about that.
It's infuriating.
Yeah, Democrats refuse to. They still want to get paid. They believe they should still get paid while the government is shut down. Take a look at this next clip. This is clip 3.
Support the idea that members of Congress are the ones that should not get paid if there's a government shutdown in the future?
Look, we are trying to resolve differences that people have. This notion that somehow Congress is separate from the American people and we're holding it up because we just don't know. Look, there's a lot of passion on this issue. You will agree with this. I saw the interview that you did just before this. People who want more enforcement. I got people in my district who are upset about what ICE agents are doing, and they want protection from that. We're not fighting over who gets the TV remote.
But no, I'm just saying that if there's going to be another, like, why should it be the TSA agents and the government workers that are making $45,000 a year? They go a month without a paycheck. That it matters to them.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, they should get paid, but also it's kind of written into the Constitution that you can't use the pay of representatives as a leverage point on how to get policy done.
The thing that keep coming.
How about take your pay and donate it to some of them?
Wait a minute. We're talking about federal workers, okay? Congress they're federal workers. Why are they still getting paid when the federal government is partially shut down?
I'll tell you why. Because Congress has carved out exemptions for themselves over the years. Over the years, I'm just saying, follow the rules, follow the law. No one is above the law. Well, there are people who are above the law, or at least I'll say groups, classes of people, because this is what it comes to. It comes to the everyday American trying to do their best again, and not even doing anything illegal. These people are trying to do their best, pay their bills, earn their paycheck, take care of their families or whatever. And at every damn step, you got the same government that is interfering and impeding them. It should be an exception. Why can't Tyler Perry give them? They're not giving out gifts for bargaining or for political clout. This is a gift to help them pay their bills. $1,000 for however many people he was going to give it to. But yes, there are rules on the books that regulate how much. I got that. But every rule, there should be an exception, particularly when it just makes sense. When the rule is what's kicking your ass, you should be able to clean your ass up and at least take a gift from someone who's offering it to you to feed your family.
I have a better idea. What we should do is when the rules are that way, we should get rid of the people who made those rules. And we do that at election time. And it's coming quickly upon us, because do you remember the longest government shutdown we've had? What was it about? Anybody? Healthcare. Have you heard them breathe a word of healthcare since? Have you heard a Democrat say Obamacare, the ACA since? No, they did it for a reason. They needed a rally point for their party. Here they are again, holding the American people hostage for a rally point for their party. And they will continue to do so, again, because they don't give a damn about TSA workers. TSA workers make up 0 of their electorate. 0. These are the same people that would jump in front of a flying train to save one Somali, because they know Somalis are going to launder some money for them. They're going to vote for them like, they're their first cousins. They'll do anything Democrats tell them to do. So they'll do what it needs to be done to protect the illegal or the barely legal for their own power. But for the American worker, let alone their brother or sister, a federal worker, Oh, they'll screw them over because I don't need your vote. You're not the vote I'm looking for. And this is what it all boils down to. You watched every single Sunday morning talkie, and I watched probably about 8 or 9 of them. You didn't hear healthcare anywhere. Nobody brought it up. Nobody talked about it. But it was such a big issue that it shut down our government for the longest time it has ever been shut down. Oh, and by the way, they had some really big elections around that time. That's how we got damn Abigail Spanberger in Virginia. Y'all remember that?
Right.
You guys remember that. This is what they do. And they know doggone well that their electorate is not smart enough to figure it out. And they're not going to listen to us telling them what it is. Meanwhile, Whoopi's telling them don't get pregnant.
Yeah. And not to mention, so we have a president now who is about solutions. He's about results. Okay. And so President Trump he has found a way to pay these TSA agents. And guess what? The Democrats are furious. This is clip 5. Take a look.
What did Democrats get out of this standoff?
Yeah, well, Margaret, the standoff is not done yet, right? The president is illegally paying, apparently, TSA agents. You had the Senate, as you pointed out with Mr. Homan, pass a bipartisan bill unanimously in the United States Senate to say, look, let's fund everybody else and let's deal with this thorny issue about ICE. And then you had the Republican House say, hell no, we're not doing that.
Wow. Folks, I mean, these people are so brazen. They're going to tell you. They tell you right then and there. They tell you right then and there. Shelley, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, because they want to keep using this as their little pawn. That's why they're not doing this to benefit TSA or anybody else. This is their little leverage point in this game that they're playing with people's lives. I mean, Americans should not be hoarded. I'm calling it hoarded in airports throughout this country like this. Major modern 21st century airports should not have crowds waiting out into the parking lot and around the building for 4 hours to go through security. I mean, this was all supposed to be handled not because of this reason, but 911, the Patriot Act. After all this security stuff, supposed to be handling this stuff, getting people through. This is a travesty. These people. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the TSA could strike. I don't know. I don't know what they should or can do. But I do know that the government, these legislatures, are playing with their lives, their livelihood, and all of them. None of them should be receiving any pay. Again, let me remind you, April the 15th is coming, and we're going to be re-upping that pot to pay these jokers their salaries every 2 weeks. While the TSA and all the travel that we might want to do in the next month or two, I don't know when it's going to end, but we might be affected in those lines. But we're still going to have to pay them and pay for our delayed flights, the flights we miss, any kind of hotels or tickets or whatever things we have lined up, because we might miss our flights, and we still got to pay these jokers. Give us our money back.
Yeah, but I want to talk about, you all saw that was a Democrat who is upset that President Trump has now stepped in. He did this on Friday with an executive order directing DHS to restore pay to TSA employees using available funds tied to airport operations. So back paychecks started hitting accounts as early as today. Actually, these TSA workers are getting paid. And again, he also had these ICE agents redeployed to airports to help guard exits and free up TSA screeners for checkpoints. So again, President Trump is trying to find solutions for the American people. And instead of the Democrats praising him and going back to the drawing board, they're taking off for Easter vacation and upset that he's put out this executive order. Now, you tell me who is against the American people, Nicole.
Listen, I already told you what it was. I don't want to sound mean because it is Holy Week, but let's pretend like it was last week right now. What they like is people who are uninformed, because you're easy to convince. There's a reason why they'd rather teach your kids about dildos than the American Constitution. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why they don't want your children to know anything about the history of this nation. There's a reason for that. And as parents, it's up to you to make sure your kids get a proper education. You can send them to public schools if you want to. I know some fantastic public school teachers, make no mistake, but they're far and few in between. Make no mistake, this is what they want. They want an uninformed public, because then all they have to do is present to you an emotional reason for you to vote for them. Because none of these people went home to greet the Easter Bunny. None of these people went home, to go to church. All of them went home to campaign. Okay. That's what they're doing. They're campaigning. They're raising money. Look at the Republicans in this long line. I said that over the weekend when they were showing the lines at BWI, Thurgood Marshall Airport in Baltimore. I said, there shouldn't be one Republican Central Committeeman in this state that wasn't at that airport handing out bottles of water in that very long line saying, would you like the taste of freedom? Brought to you by the GOP. The Democrats got you freezing your butts off out here in this weather, waiting in this long line. This is a Democrat shutdown. They're a captive damn audience. Now, I know that sounds a little,
no, it's
extreme.
a good idea.
But I'm going to tell you, in a state where you're outnumbered damn near 10-1, you better do something. You better do something, because people will listen to that CNN that's playing on a loop at the damn airport saying that this is Donald Trump's shutdown. The president hasn't done anything to shut this down. This is wholly the responsibility of Congress.
Yeah.
Wholly.
Yeah. And what about the congressman? It was reported over the weekend. I know Marsha Blackburn and I think another congressman were seen being escorted through the TSA traffic. It may have been 3 different congressmen.
It was the one who was working on Hillary Clinton's campaign. What was her name? With the blonde curly hair.
Not Marsha Blackburn.
No,
she was one of them. No, it's another lady. It was two or three other ones. But again, they get special treatment.
And it was the Republican too, with the dark hair.
Yeah, that was her. Yeah,
well, listen, they all enjoy those kind of perks. That's a part of being a congressman. There were videos of Bernie Sanders and AOC sitting in first class talking about
Wasserman Schultz.
First, Who was it, KJ?
It was Wasserman Schultz.
Oh, Wasserman Schultz. Oh, yeah.
Wasserman. Thank you, Josh.
So it's like 3 or 4 of them, including the one in first class. Yeah, they do. They get. My point is again, they get the special perks, but of course they get them at in this case, to the detriment of the TSA and all the other workers. And we're still paying their salaries. They don't have an unction about, what? Maybe this doesn't look too good, or
they don't care.
None of that. They take it for granted. They take us for granted. It is infuriating. It is so infuriating. None of these Americans, they should be reimbursed their delayed or missed flights, all of this stuff, but they won't be. And the TSA, some of them are getting back pay, but these people, congressmen, are still crying, if you will, trying to stop that because they want to keep using them for their own political purposes.
Exactly. It's their ploy for the midterms. Like, we're having a mini convention. This is their ploy to win in the midterms. How much can you make them hurt? How much can you make them hurt? Are you willing to lose a couple of thousand votes in order to win a congressional seat? And the answer to that is yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Folks, sound off in the chat. Let us know what you think. Also, as you come in, hit that like button. It helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience, and we appreciate your support. Also, your super chats go a long way in keeping us online. We do not have sponsors for this program, so you guys are the only way we help to keep us on here. And so that's a great way to support the channel. Speaking of super chats, Shelly, do we have some here?
We do. We have a couple here. Tony, thank you for your $10 super chat, Tony. They should invite a TSA employee to participate in those interviews.
Absolutely.
Yep. Thank you, Tony. Josh. Hi, Josh. Thank you for your $20 super chat. And Josh is also a member of our Freedom Seekers Club. Josh says, log cabin Republican right here. Just wait until we have our Pop in Politics fan party. There won't be a dried out, crusty old, angry liberal white lady in sight.
Clock it. I know that's right.
Josh. I can't wait. Thank you, Josh.
All right,
everybody
folks.
else, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And look, just send some love to Josh, the log cabin Republican right here. He's going to have a Pop in Politics fan party. All right.
I'm telling you, there's not a meeting like it anywhere. I reached out to Heath Barnes, who runs our chapter here in Maryland. I think it was last summer, maybe the summer before, we went whitewater rafting. Then, they're bowling and there's salsa there. I mean, like, I was like, wait a minute. He invited me to speak. I just never left. I went to every meeting. I had such a good time. And it is really fun. It's a good time. There is some business. I'm not going to say they don't handle their business, but as soon as business is finished, the turn up is epic. I had a blast, an absolute blast. Pool parties. Don't nobody party like the log cabins. I'm just going to put that out there.
All right. So we're going to change gears again a little bit here and talk about Iryna Zarutska, folks. You remember the heartbreaking tragedy that's kind of become a huge, I don't know what you would call, like, issue about soft on crime policies and no cash bail. So we talked about this 23-year-old from Kyiv, Ukraine, was on, I believe it was the bus in North Carolina, and she was stabbed to death, all right, by some homeless man with over a dozen prior arrests and serious mental health issues. He should not have been on the street. I mean, this murder rocked the nation. Okay, her parents, I believe her mom, was at the State of the Union address that President Trump did a couple of months ago. Well, they have tried to put up a mural, just to, remind people, pay homage to this tragedy of hers. So they were putting up a mural of hers in North Carolina. Well, it's been put on hold due to backlash from leftists. Take a look here. This is clip 4.
The murals for everybody that died for Black Lives Matter.
Well, it's hard to miss it. This mural of Iryna Zarutska is almost complete. It's on the backside of this gay club, the Dark Lady, in downtown Providence, and now the owners tell us the project is on pause.
I think it's unfortunate that there would be any negative backlash towards the piece.
NBC 10 spoke with the man behind the paintbrush, Ian Gaudreau.
A friend of mine sent me a post about they were looking to do murals of Iryna Zarutska.
Zarutska is the 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee who was brutally stabbed to death in North Carolina last summer.
I think everybody was pretty moved by the way that she was just so publicly murdered.
President Trump and other prominent conservatives have pointed to Zarutska's death as a consequence of lenient courts and politicians in Democrat-run cities. And Elon Musk is funding a sizable portion of the nationwide mural project.
He can support a white woman in America. What about the black women in America that are dying every day on the streets?
There's been so much backlash, the club's owners have put the project on hold.
What a horrible thing to say. Nicole, what are your thoughts on this? And put its correction. So that one was in Providence, Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm. So listen, I love street art. I'm just going to be honest with you. I love me some good graffiti. I love a beautiful mural. It speaks to the heart. And this is what this does. No one protested when they had all of the other murals of people who were choked out and hands up and all of this. It is just the community's way of healing from what they say is trauma to them. Now, this woman was 100% innocent, and there's not a person who can argue that point. She's sitting on a bus minding her business and got stabbed in the neck and bled out while people sat there and watched her bleed out. So that's a horrible, horrible thing. It's not even political. It's not even questionable whether or not this woman's legacy should be love, light, and happiness and joy. We should find as a people healing through this, right? No, she's not Black, because only Black lives matter. Not all lives, just the Black lives. And this is the danger when you feed young people who do not have the nuance to understand those kind of definitive lines. Black lives matter, all lives matter. Then they're mad because you said all lives matter. Well, Black lives matter more. No, infant lives matter. Fetus lives matter. All the lives matter. No, but which this young girl with all of the piercings in her face, what she heard definitively was that only Black lives matter. Why would we put a picture of a white woman up, but Black women die every day? Well, Chinese women die. Korean, folks die every day. What does that have to do with the price of China? This woman died a horrible death, and it should not have happened. you don't have any compassion for her because she's not Black?
Yeah.
That would have been my question to her.
Yeah.
She doesn't.
No, she doesn't. Yeah.
She does
You know what the I think I'll say the real problem is not so much that Iryna wasn't Black. Yes, that's a part of it. But if they put Iryna's face on, they have to be confronted with the fact that a Black man did it. That's what they don't want.
Okay.
They don't want to say, they don't want, because we know that, I mean, unfortunately, sadly, most of the crime in the Black community is Black on Black crime, and of course Black males, right? So to put Iryna's white face on this building, on this mural, will have to show to the people like this lady that said Black lives, then she would have to be faced. Oh, a Black man actually did it. Okay, you can't blame a white man, can't blame a Chinese man, because this woman's life was literally stabbed out of her. She literally bled to death, a slow death, exsanguination. That's number one. Number two, I thought about this, and I wanted to ask this. I'm sorry. This is a club in Rhode Island, right?
Right.
And they just wanted to honor her. An LGBTQ, I think, club I read. A gay club. They wanted to honor her. So they can't even do that because, again, that's that hierarchy. LGBTQ. The B doesn't stand for Black, okay? But that's all lives matter, or Black lives matter. But you can't do that. Again, they've hijacked a club that would ostensibly be on their side. But because they're not honoring the Black person, they can't do it. And you talk about no kings, these are the tyrants.
Absolutely. Without question. These are the people who seek to silence everyone else. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to silence everyone else. And if you don't participate in the groupthink, you're the problem.
Right. Yeah. And folks, whether it's racism, whether it's sex, it's hate. These people are hateful. All right. Because anyone who would look at this story and say what that ugly troll with all the piercings in her face said is hateful. She is a hateful person. So, I just continue to pray for these people. I pray, and I pray I never meet them. I pray for them, for their sake, that they never come face to face with me. I really do. Folks, again, sound off in the chat. Let us know what you think. What do you think about this? Do you think what that troll, that I don't even goblin looking thing said is justifiable? Or what are we missing? Is there something that we're missing where maybe there's another angle here that we're missing? Let us know. Sound off in the chat. Yeah. Let us know.
I read this a little bit earlier. I don't know if you mentioned this, but the mayor is calling for it to be taken down or not finished or whatever. Something to do with Elon Musk paying for it. Who cares? That's a private business.
They hate Elon Musk.
That's a private business.
Right.
Do you remember when they painted Black Lives Matter all up and down 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue? I mean, the buckets of paint came out so quick. Okay, you probably couldn't find yellow paint in Home Depot or Lowe's. That they had so much paint. They painted it within 24 to 48 hours, right? Black Lives Matter all up and down.
And if you walked on it, you would get up. They got upset. If you walked on the street where it was painted, they would get upset.
Yeah,
I mean, you would think this was like the yellow brick road, like paved roads in heaven. They would get upset if you walked on it. And now they will not let Elon pay to have a mural of this woman. It is really sick. It really is. It really is. But they hate Elon. They hate him. They was out here tearing up Teslas in opposition to him.
There was a lady, I think, I can't remember, may have been in Occoquan, but there was a woman who was driving a Tesla, clearly a Democrat, because she had a "I'm with her" sticker on it. And that's what caught my attention. I was like, now how'd she get that old bumper sticker on that new car? But apparently she saved it from her old car. But she also had a magnetic bumper sticker on that said, "This Tesla hates Nazis and fascists."
Oh my gosh.
That's what I said. I said, my goodness. It takes all kinds.
I don't want to talk about. Well, no, I will say what I'm going to say. Ugly, big lip drug addict got a big mural up in Minneapolis. Got a big mural. Yeah, and his is up because he was killed by a white man. So that's what they want you to invoke.
This is the great segue for my next plea to buy merch, because there's a shirt that Trump has that has Trump on it that said these people are crazy.
Yeah.
It matches this segment. Absolutely. These people are absolutely out of their damn minds. They are absolutely crazy. And again, I continue to blame the information flow. Although some people, I think, enjoy the contrarian point of view, but this is a great shirt to wear. If you're going to one of those alphabet mafia clubs, you can just sit there and not say nothing and just have Trump point them out. These people are crazy.
Man, look what
they don't want to put it in there.
Saint fentanyl.
It's like, it is so crazy. These people are crazy. Y'all get y'all merch. Summer is coming. It's coming quick. You want it to wear to your A250 surprises. So there's going to be lots of things to do. You want to go looking cute. It's a great way to support the channel, and thank you in advance.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that one before.
Same thing. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Wow. All right, folks. So let's keep going. Final segment of the night. Speaking of Saint Fentanyl, we are about to put our knees on the necks of these Democrats. We're about to Derek Chauvin these Democrats in this next segment. All right. We're talking about Democrat Representative Sheila Sherphillis McCormick. Mm-hmm. Have you guys heard about this? So she is another glaring example of how elite Democrats treat taxpayer dollars. Mm-hmm. I mean, they think we are their piggy banks. Folks, everybody should be upset about this story. She's a Florida congresswoman, and she just got slapped with a bipartisan House Ethics Committee guilty verdict on 25 of 27 counts of financial misconduct. And she's staring down up to 53 years in federal prison if she's convicted. This has been a while. I'm surprised we haven't talked about this. Take a look at this story here. All right, here we go.
Sheila Sherphillis McCormick committed 25 ethics violations.
And this comes after Sherphillis McCormick spent 7 hours in a rare high-pressure meeting on Capitol Hill on Thursday. The Congresswoman refused to answer our crews on her way out. The Democrat is facing more than 24 charges for alleged misconduct, and the charges include accusations that she stole millions of dollars in FEMA COVID-19 relief funds and funneled the cash into her campaign for Congress in 2021. Sherphillis McCormick is also facing a federal indictment for the same alleged activity. She's fiercely denying any wrongdoing.
My client on the one side of me saying, that's not true. I want to get up and I want to testify and I want to explain something. How can she possibly go into court and have a fair trial if her jurors have already heard that she was found guilty by the House of Representatives?
Lawmakers hearing the case saying this morning that they will consider her punishment, but no other details were released. Sherphillis McCormick could face more than 50 years in prison and potential expulsion from Congress.
Mm-hmm. All right. She should have been expelled. So let's dig into what she actually is accused of. $5 million in FEMA heist. So back in 2021, in July of 2021, her family's healthcare company, Trinity Healthcare Services, received a massive overpayment of roughly $5 million in federal disaster relief funds tied to COVID-19 vaccination staffing contracts. So instead of returning the taxpayer money, prosecutors say she and her brother conspired to keep it, routing it through multiple accounts to hide the source. And guess where she did put it? Her campaign. Mm-hmm. A big chunk allegedly went straight into boosting her 2021 special election campaign for Congress, okay, which she publicly called self-funded. Yeah, it was funded by taxpayers. All right, this included straw donor schemes where friends and relatives acting as fake donors with the laundered money, plus commingling of personal campaign and corporate funds. Some cash reportedly bought her a 3.14 carat yellow diamond ring and other luxuries. Wow. Okay. Wow. All right, before I get you all get your response. So she has to be humiliated, right? She has to be shamed. She probably is walking around with her head held low in shame that one, she did this, but number two, she was caught. No. Take a look. Take a look at this. All right. Let me see here. Here she is today. Here we go. Take a look at this. Four-eyed bitch.
Look forward to my day in court so I can prove myself and actually state the truth. But if this is what Congress is becoming, where they're always trying to intimidate you, scare tactics, especially attacking minorities, Black and brown people, then we're going to have to keep fighting for the district. And everybody has been giving me so much support, and we're going to keep fighting until the district gets what it needs, which is fair prices, housing, and fair representation in Congress. Look forward to my.
She blamed it on race. People coming after her because she's Black.
She's Haitian.
Yeah. Oh. She looks like, she reminds me of Marilyn. What is it? Marilyn. What's out the lady? Mosby. That's what she reminds me of.
Yeah, they all do this. They get indignant and they blame it as a racial witch hunt. Shirley, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. Once again, all the COVID, the PPP, and the disaster relief, and the ARP, whatever those funds, ARPA funds, all that. This is give us our money back. Give us our money back, okay? This was taxpayer money funneled. And do you remember, if you think about the Minneapolis or Minnesota, all these different, and California, all these different healthcare institutes and nursing homes, this is a part of it. She created this Trinity Healthcare, whatever you want, whatever it was called. This is what they've done. This is why so many have popped up in recent years. All these, the ones out in California we talked about a couple weeks ago. They created these pseudo fake businesses so they can actually get this money and funnel it to their campaign. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, that's why I say, and fraud is in every state. The fraud is in every state. PPP, Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, whatever, any other housing authority programs. All of this fraud is across the country, and it's our money. Give us our money back. Just give it back. We can do worse with it, but at least it'll be ours.
So Nicole, do you think that it was a mistake that because they're saying that she got this refund. Maybe she thought she was supposed to get it.
What refund? It wasn't a refund.
It was an overpayment.
PPP. The PPP wasn't no refund.
So what they did is during COVID, lots of people stood up, healthcare companies, to go out and give vaccinations, right? And it wasn't just mom and pop companies. Walmart flipped most of their cashiers. They watched YouTube and they giving people the jab. I mean, it really was a free for all of just the government throwing money at people, hoping that this would make a problem go away. And it never, ever works that way. So she set up a healthcare company, and that healthcare company was charged with giving shots around Florida, right? And then she claims, this is her claim, because I watched all 7 hours of the hearing.
Wow.
Let's talk about how she was 2 hours late. Let's do that. Came in with her friend Jasmine Crockett. So we knew what we were in for. So she claims that she was driving around Florida telling the Haitian community and the Black and brown community to go get shots. And this is the reason why she thought that her company should keep the money, because she actually did the work. Well, the problem with that is that she didn't. And there's definitive proof that she didn't. And it's one thing to be brought before the House Ethics Committee. That happens to a ton of congressmen, because anybody can level a complaint about you. Anything. When they do a hearing that's live and open to the public, that means you didn't burnt every bridge you had to stand on. They haven't done a live ethics hearing in 16 years.
Wow.
That's how pissed off they are. So they have been asking her to turn over to them information that would clear up the situation. For 2 years, they've been asking her that. Mr. Barzee, her attorney, has only been working on her case for 3 years. He's her 5th attorney. So again, she's bringing all of her who's going to check me, boo, to this situation. And what the House has said, it's us. We're going to check you. This is what's going to happen. There's a very strong likelihood that she will be expelled. She'll get George Santos. She'll be tossed out on her butt. Because the last thing that the people in the House of Representatives want is the American public shining a light in their finances. That's the last damn thing they want. So they'll get rid of the troublemaker before American people start saying, well, hell, if she did it, don't you have a healthcare company? Let's open the books and see what you did.
Right.
But what they want is they wanted her to comply. They asked her for documents. She wouldn't comply. She fired that attorney. The other attorney came on. He took a look at the case, heard what she said, and he ran. So there's all of this drama surrounding it. And Mr. Barzee tried 3 ways to Sunday. It's going to be double jeopardy, and she won't be able to get a fair trial. And you know, if I talk louder, you'll believe me. And none of it worked because when the House Ethics Committee staff sat down with their volumes of information, they started on chapter 1 and went all the way through the Revelations. Honey, they dragged that thing for filth. Do you hear me? Every single thing about this. She stonewalled them. She lied to them. She wouldn't return phone calls. She destroyed documents. She created documents that didn't have any signatures on it. Anything you can do to try to wiggle out of something, she's tried to do it. She's tried. And it didn't work. And when I tell you these folks are over her ass, the staffers were mad at her. The staffers were like, all you had to do was comply. We wouldn't even be here, you know, on public television with people watching from all over the country. You wouldn't have to live through this embarrassment. And she was not embarrassed. Her head was not down.
They got the ring. They got the ring. They got the ring highlighted. And I just saw that in the inside.
That's the ring. That ring was the last straw for the ethics committee. That was the last damn straw. They lost.
When I'm reading the DOJ thing, the DOJ file, whatever, right there. In 2021, now I don't know if I think they said in the report that she created the business in 2021. In July, it was a FEMA funded, and this is FEMA funded COVID whatever business. So your business, you started your business so you can get these funds, and then in July the same year, the 21, they sent you a $5 million overpayment. You know daggone well you just starting your healthcare business, $5 million. That had to be wrong, number one. But number two, it also says to me, how is it that the government can have these systems where a $5 million payment goes out to a newly established FEMA funded business? How does that even happen? Again, this is my belief. This is why I think on the back end, there's some corruption going on too. These programs are ripe for corruption.
Yeah,
agreed.
$5 million. Most businesses, new startup business, not even worth $5 million. $1 million. $5 million
in 1 month.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. She's in July 2021. Okay, her family's healthcare company received the money in July of 2021. Well, you're saying she started the business when?
I thought it said in the report that the business was started, but that may have been the 2021 I heard. Maybe they didn't start it. But they got a FEMA funded contract in 2021, and then in July they got the payment. So it's still the same year. And then in July, later on in the year, her tax guy, 2021, all of this is 2021. He tried to, it sounds like what they're reporting, he basically tried to manipulate it and know, whatever. Yeah. All this in 2021.
They're playing that shell game. This is what makes me.
That's exactly what it is.
It makes me crazy about this because working in healthcare, we're not allowed to have a shell game. There's rules and regulations about shell games. But here is this attorney, sitting member of Congress, with $5 million she wasn't supposed to have, and instead of returning it, saying, "Oh no, you made a grave error," She said, well, you know what? We should all break this up into little pieces, funnel it through all these different accounts, and then put it into my campaign, and then all of us can eat. Because how would they know it wasn't donated? In fact, Grandma, you gonna say you gave me $6,000. Auntie, you gonna say you gave me $10,000. This is what they do. This is what they do. And again, does she give a damn about the people? Not at all. Is she ashamed? Not in the slightest.
And the biggest shell game.
She pranced into that meeting like she was going to lunch.
Nicole, the shell game that we can't play. We got a lot of shells, but we have to turn them over. April the 15th is coming. We got to turn over all our shells. We got to crack them, turn them over, whatever, because April the 15th is coming.
Right.
Ridiculous.
And just a little background. So the company was founded in 1994 by her stepdad. Okay. And so he's been referenced with involvement in this as well. But it began as a Florida-based home health care company. All right. And then she joined in 1999 as an intern while in college. She went to Howard University. And so she worked her way through and she was promoted to operations manager in 2002. Okay. And then in 2010, she became CEO. All right. So the business has been around for a little while. But this she got actually was $5 to $5.8 million. So what I want to know is she talking about all this, black and brown people, this and that. Well, she surely doesn't sound oppressed to me. Multi-millionaire. This is crazy.
You could skate on that yellow diamond, that beautiful ring. You could skate on top of that thing. It's ridiculous. It is. And she wore it everywhere. She wasn't. This is the part that kills me. If she had an ounce of shame, she didn't. When I tell you, when she walked down that hallway, because again, she was almost 2 hours late for this meeting. All the reporters were standing outside and the cameras were set up. And so, I'm texting with my friend. He's a reporter. I was like, dude, I can't be sitting at my desk all day waiting, because it was just, watching them sitting in the hallway. And he said, oh, we're just waiting. And when they come, I'll let you know. I said, well, I'm watching it, so I'll let you know when she come down the hallway. I'll probably see her before you. So we were laughing and carrying on. And here she pranced down that hallway like a unicorn, just clickety, clickety, click, 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 like nothing was going on.
Wow.
It just blew my mind. I said, this woman has no shame. She has no moral compass. Zero. Zip nada.
Well, folks, we will continue to update you on this story. All right. So do we have any super chatters here? Okay.
Yes, we have Kung Fu CJ again. Thank you for your $2. Bad boys, what you gonna do? Jail.
Yeah.
3 equals 1. Thank you for your $2 super chat. Thank you for coming to join us tonight. Example of while Democrats pushed against Doge. Yes, absolutely. Yep. Yep.
Sure is.
It's really unnerving.
It really is.
It's ridiculous.
It is. All right, folks, that does it for us tonight. Thank you all so much for watching. All right. Again, if you haven't done so, please hit that like button. It helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience, and we appreciate the support. Also, share this video, send it in a text message and an email, post it to your social media. We want to get the word out, folks. We need your help. We have a goal to hit 250,000 subscribers, and we know we can do it with your help. So please share and subscribe. If you haven't done so, what are you waiting for? You know you love us. We love you. So hit that subscribe button and join the movement here of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. All right. So that does it for us tonight. Thanks again so much for watching. Until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.
Good night.